But the main reason why I am recording myself today is because I've decided to go on a dopamine detox. Now you may be asking, why the hell am I going on a dopamine detox? Why would someone who is handsome, jacked, has everything going for him want to go on a dopamine detox? Well, mainly it's because of overstimulation. During the school year, this wasn't as much of a problem because I'm a college student. But during the school year, especially when you have a tight schedule with a lot of tasks and a lot of work to do on a certain set of time, it's very easily to stay consistent in what you're doing because you have strict deadlines. But as soon as summer rolled around, I only had like 1 or 2 classes and a part-time job, which left me with a lot of time to kind of do whatever I want. And what does a normal, sensible person do when they get whatever they want? They just choose whatever is easiest, playing video games, watching YouTube, just wasting time, watching shows, all the above. So that has definitely been a problem, and the reason why that's been a problem is because of what it leads to. The overstimulation leads to a decrease in total dopamine. What happens when you do these kind of habits is when you do the high enjoyable, like really good habits, or not good habits, but super stimulating habits, they spike your dopamine levels super high, so it reaches a certain point up here, and then after they reach that point for a while, it crashes down, and your baseline level of dopamine decreases in the long run. So if you keep doing these types of habits, your overall baseline of dopamine keeps decreasing lower and lower, but you're still doing the same habits that increase your dopamine super high. So what basically happens is you need a lot more stimulation just for you to kind of be at your baseline, and that even when that baseline is lower. But the whole point of a dopamine detox is for your baseline so there not be super high spikes up and down, a little bit more of like stagnant, but your baseline to slowly grow higher, and for you to have overall more dopamine to use on the daily, like from doing mundane tasks, even boring tasks, that wouldn't be classified as fun, such as like washing dishes and that kind of stuff. But yeah, that definitely segues to the second part, second reason why I'm going to be going on a dopamine detox, and that second reason is focus and productivity. I've always felt like when I am working towards something or working on something meaningful, whether it be schoolwork or anything, I get into a nice flow state, and it's not like enjoyable in itself, but it almost gives me like a sense of fulfillment afterwards. I've noticed during the summer when I've had a lot of time to myself, when I'm not working on something, I kind of just feel bad. Like I just don't feel a sense of fulfillment, like working towards anything. Almost get like negative thoughts and all that kind of stuff happening. But definitely like this YouTube channel that I want to start over here, and some of the other things that I've been slacking on, is definitely want to make that a bigger part of my life, if that makes sense, for me to work towards that. But I've even noticed when I'm in this kind of state of dopamine depletion or overstimulation, as you'd say, I find myself not wanting to do the mundane tasks, of like washing the dishes, brushing my teeth, like even something stupid as making your bed or putting your clothes away. You know what I mean? It makes those kind of tasks a lot harder, especially because with my phone, which I'm recording with over here, it's very easy to kind of just grab onto it, and it's almost like an urge that you get to grab onto your phone and just start scrolling through everything, and it really impedes on like what you're actually going to do. Like for example, if I'm going to the gym, one day, or I go to the gym almost every day, but if I'm going to the gym and my mundane task, as you would say, is to fill up my water bottle, instead of actually going to get my water bottle and going to fill it up, most of the time I'll kind of say like, oh, that's just an easy task. I'll spend only like a few more minutes on my phone scrolling and stuff like that. But a few minutes turn into another few minutes because the way the algorithm works is that you keep scrolling looking for the next video or something like that. But yeah, it's definitely not it's definitely like almost like a doom cycle. It's something that you don't want to repeat. But the third reason why I want to hop on this dopamine detox is again relationships. This doesn't necessarily mean like relationships as in dating, but it could mean that. But mainly what this is for family members. I want to start out small with family members and friends. I've noticed that because I'm an introvert, that's one thing about me. So when I'm in a social situation for too long, it's almost like I get uncomfortable and I kind of get this urge to almost escape from something, and that's when I'll normally like find myself grabbing my phone and just checking like Instagram or something, or doing some stupid task like when someone else is talking to me. So I'm not fully paying attention and being mindful of what they're saying, but I'm also kind of getting that like small dopamine, you know what I mean? Like the way this should work is I should be getting my dopamine from the conversations that I have with people and like listening to what they say, instead of kind of doing the negative feedback loop of looking into my phone instead. Like you've seen those people, this has been like a notorious internet meme, but you've seen those people at like large gatherings or parties, and they're the person in like the one corner, like sitting on their phone, like scrolling through an app or something, or checking the weather app when a girl goes up to talk to them. You don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be that guy who's you have a girl talking to you and you're just going through your weather app, you know what I mean? Definitely not the place that you want to be, especially that's not the place where I want to be. So that's one of the reasons as well. But number 4 is for religious reasons. I do identify as a Christian. So there's a lot of different things or aspects of my faith that I need to kind of do better on if I want to be a Christian, if that makes sense. Like there's a lot of different steps involved. One of those is daily prayer. As a Christian, you should be praying every day. I have been praying every day, but not to the extent as I've wanted to, mainly due to those bad habits. So that's been definitely a challenge for me. But also just attending Mass and being able to kind of just be at peace with myself and feel the presence of God, if that makes sense, through prayer. That's something that's definitely impeded if your attention span isn't as high and stuff like that. But yeah, I think those are all the reasons. But so let me show you guys I've told you my reasons here of why I want to hop on this dopamine detox. But here are the actual rules, because I can say that I'm going on a dopamine detox, but unless I actually implement rules and follow regulations, it's just going to end up in, I'm going to do this for a week. I don't have any set goals, and I'm just going to revert back to my old habits. And I don't have accountability, but by recording this video and letting you know that I'm doing this is one sense of accountability. So anyway, I have a little spreadsheet here, or not a spreadsheet, but a Google Doc. If you want to pause the video here and take a look at it, this is all of the habits that the negative habits that I'm trying to get rid of, and the new habits that I'm trying to put on here. But if you've seen that, I'm just going to read them off and explain to you what I'm going to be doing for that and why. So number 1 is going to be no YouTube videos at all unless it's educational. Like I've mentioned earlier, like I'll be even eating food or just chilling at the house. Pretty much I'll like sit in this little corner here and I'll put a video on and I'll just sit there for a while, like eating food or something. Because I'm a bodybuilder, so it's like you have to eat a lot of food. So I'll literally just sit there with food and just find myself finishing the food and still watching the video. Like, I don't know, it's just definitely been a problem for me that way. So no YouTube unless it's educational. And I'm gonna add to this after I record this as well. No videos unless it's educational as well, and not while eating. That's for sure. No YouTube while eating, and only educational content. And what do I mean by educational content? Like something that I'm generally gonna pull something from and be like, hey, like I learned this, and I'm gonna implement this skill. Like stuff that I'm gonna pull from it and actually use. Because if I'm just watching something and not using anything from that video, then there's no point in me watching the video. But number two, social media. Yeah, that's pretty self-explanatory. There's a bunch of negatives with social media. I'll probably make a video on that pretty soon, listing the downfall, like the negatives and that just the in general for society negatives, I guess. And the only thing I'm gonna use my phone for socially is maybe to text people, and that's pretty much it. The next one is no music at all. And the only caveat or the only exception I'm giving myself to this rule is in the gym, because I know for a fact if I pull music out of the gym, I'm gonna see a lot less gains for sure, because music and the gym kind of is really intertwined for me. So I figure maybe on like the last week, maybe after 3 weeks, I'm planning on doing this for a month, but maybe after 3 weeks, that last week can be with no music, but we'll see how it goes first. So like any music in the car is a no, just only strictly to the gym. No video games is pretty self-explanatory. That means no games on your phone, no actual like video game consoles and stuff like that. I had a PS4 over here. I took the PS4 and I put it in a box to make it harder for myself. Even if I did try to get on, I would literally have to set it back up again, making like one step level of making it even harder for me to do that. No FAP is pretty self-explanatory. No porn, no jerking off, no none of that. Yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory. No junk food. So no processed foods. No foods that aren't going to contribute to my gains. Like if there's, I am technically bulking, but if there's a food that has like maybe less than 3 or 4 grams of protein and has like over like 200 calories, and that's not considered a valid like healthy food. But I will have an exception for like very clean foods such as nuts, meats, dairy products, all the above. So I kind of know personally what's a good food and not a good food, and then again I can make videos on that as well. It's another idea. And so those are the things that I'm not gonna do. I have a bunch of replacement habits as well that are going to serve as something to replace the old habits with. Like, for example, if right now, if I tried to stop doing all of these habits and just kind of sit here and do nothing about it, like kind of just sit in my room and do nothing, like have nothing to work on, eventually, after like a few hours or even a few days, I'm literally gonna unbox my PlayStation 4 and plug it in just from pure boredom, you know what I mean? So I want to make that as hard to do as possible, so I'm going to do these replacement habits to have like almost a set of goals that I have to do each single day to replace the old habits. So number 1 on the replacement habits is a 15-minute daily meditation. Now in the past I've been pretty good on it recently. I'm on, I think, a 7-day streak starting today, or an 8-day streak starting today for 10 minutes a day. So I've been good on a week for that. So I'm bumping it up to 15 minutes as kind of like a daily progression. So that's what's really going to help me with that, with the meditation that has a bunch of benefits like mindfulness, peace of mind, like dealing with stress is great. Has a lot of mental health benefits as well, so that's one reason why I'm doing that. The next replacement habit is going to be 10 pages a day of reading. This kind of coincides with the not watching videos unless it's educational. I kind of have to do the same thing with reading. I'm not going to be like reading any fiction or anything like that. I'm pretty much going to be reading things that are going to help me with the future or something that I'm working on. So I'm not going to be reading a novel or something like that. I'm going to be reading something that's informational, if that makes any sense. It's the same thing with the YouTube videos. So a third replacement habit I have is one rosary. As a Catholic, the rosary is one of the best methods of prayer. It's very long. Some people say it's a little bit repetitive, but in the past I know I've done it and I have liked it. So it's a really good, consistent form of prayer. I'm gonna definitely try to do that. The next one is a daily workout. So I do work out 6 days a week, but I haven't been doing anything on my rest day on Sunday. And this doesn't even have to be anything resistance wise, because you're supposed to give your body some rest. You're not supposed to overtrain and anything like that, but as the daily workout goes, I'm gonna keep it to something like cardio related, or even like some abs, which I've been slacking on, or just cardio in general, because I've been bodybuilding, and most of my time in the gym has been spent towards lifting heavy weights instead of doing any cardio. So that's definitely something I can implement. So the next one is going to be 1 hour of designated work tasks. Now, depending on what my goals are at the time, definitely for the time being, my designated work task is going to be almost like recording, working on videos, getting video ideas, figuring out what I'm doing, because I'm a new YouTuber. I don't know what I'm doing yet. I have the confidence to say that. But yeah, 1 hour of designated work tasks. This can be during the school year. This is definitely going to be like studying for an exam or doing a project, and doing this kind of deep work flow where I'm have zero distractions around me. It's literally like, if I'm recording a video, it's gonna be me and the camera, or if I'm writing an essay for school, it's gonna be me and the computer, and then some sources open. I'm not gonna have like anything open in the third tab with YouTube or anything like that, or I'm not gonna have even my phone around me to check Instagram or check notifications. None of that. That's definitely not gonna be allowed. So another thing is, I guess this kind of intertwines with what I said here, but I'm gonna try to make one video every single week to start off now. Like, I'm gonna try to make these as high quality as possible. I'm definitely gonna need some advice, but I'm gonna try to record one video every single day. Just the recording process, just getting myself comfortable with me talking to the mic is, I think, the main kind of task that's gonna get me successful on here. I mean, like, video editing and including effects and stuff like that is something that can almost be outsourced or put to someone else, but the actual recording aspect is something that you can't replace or outsource to anyone else. Okay, but moving on to the next one, it is going to be, I'm going to try to wake up 5 a.m. every single day, unless I have a dinner shift at work. So I'm a waiter, so I have a job working as a waiter at a restaurant, so they do give me two types of shifts. They give me either a morning shift or a dinner shift. For the morning shifts, it's like 10:30 to 4, and then the dinner shift is like either 4 to 10 or 4 to 11, depending on when we close. But normally, if it's in a dinner shift, by the time I clean up and everything and I finish all my work and get home, it's around like 12 to 1-ish, something like that. So if I'm trying to wake up at 5 a.m. every single day when I work a dinner shift, it's not going to really work out for me, just because I'm not going to be able to get enough sleep. If I get home at 1, by the time I take a shower, by the time I like eat something, it's going to be like 2 a.m. and there's no way I'm going to be able to function off of like 3 hours of sleep on a normal day. So unless I have a dinner shift. So if I have a dinner shift, I'll probably go from experience and kind of see how it works. I'll probably wake up around maybe like 8 or 9. If I go to sleep at 2, just so I get a decent amount of sleep, so I'm not sleep deprived. But if it's a normal day, if I'm not working a dinner shift, then it's definitely going to be 5 a.m. And then the last one is one journal entry every day. I used to be really consistent with journal entries, but as of recently, I haven't been doing that as much, just because with journal entries, it's been that I've been like on and off with those, because I've normally in the past, I've set the goal to write 1 page, but I'll write 1 page, I'll kind of write what I have to say, and then for the next day, it's almost like I don't have any ideas that kind of jump out at me right away and for me to write about. Normally, I've noticed in the past that I haven't had as many ideas. Like, I would kind of almost write about the same thing almost every day, but it's hard to explain. I definitely have to get back on it. But if I, instead of like writing a whole page, I could just do like a gratitude statement as well. It's part of self-improvement. But yeah, that's everything that I have to mention today. So yeah, that's the habits that I'm gonna get rid of, and then the replacement habits, and I've told you guys why I'm going on this. But without further ado, I'm gonna end it here. I definitely am gonna try to work as hard as I can on this. But feel free to drop any suggestions or any problems or anything like that, any criticisms in the comments below, just so I can make this as best as possible, to make a better videos as possible, if that makes any sense. But without further ado, yeah, that's it.